Hello everybody, welcome on board the Viking Jupiter. My name is Martin. I'm the chef or the executive chef on board the ship, and I would like to share a recipe today with you, which is Norwegian braised halibut. And in order to do that, before we get started and I show you all the little tricks behind it, I would say we go down in our stores and we check what we can prepare with it. So if you just come with me, we have a look together. So here we are. We are now down on deck A in one of our main stores on the Viking Jupiter, and we're going to have a look what ingredients go nicely with our halibut this morning, and I would just go through, have a look what we like, and then I share that with you. So we definitely have some good stuff here. We have some oranges, we have some red radish, which we're going to take, some beetroot I can see, some red onion, and I think we're going to get a nice recipe down with these ingredients. And I see you back up in the kitchen table. Here we are. Welcome back to the kitchen table. And now we're going to prepare together the braised halibut. So as we are in Norway today, we get some fantastic fresh halibut, just fresh off the fish market. The halibut, of course, you will not buy a whole piece at home most likely, so you ask your fish butcher to cut you a nice fillet. As you can see here, I have one fillet already prepared. We're going to cut it in a nice portion of about 180 to 200 grams, and we'll then marinate it with some olive oil, red peppercorns, and braise it slowly in the oven with some oranges, red radish, so we get a really nice, fresh, fruity dish, which is very light and healthy as well. So, in order to prepare the halibut, you see we cut the skin off. We just trim the edges a little bit, and then we just cut the fillets in a nice portion. So we need 2 pieces right now, 180, 190 grams. That's more than enough. And in order to start off with the dish, we will have to marinate our halibut. Okay? Halibut is a fantastic fish, but you need to watch out a few things when you're cooking it, as it can get very dry very easily. So we want to slow cook it in the oven, and we don't want to overcook it, yeah? That's why we choose the braising technique as well. We're gonna wrap it in some pergament paper so all the flavors stay just inside. Okay, to marinate the fish, we start off with a little bit olive oil, just drizzle it on top, yeah? Then we're gonna have some salt, just a little bit salt, and some pink peppercorns, as I just mentioned. Okay, pink peppercorns, beautiful, not as spicy as a black pepper, almost a little fruity in taste, and it gets a fantastic aroma, and something unusual as you don't work with it too often. Okay, also the benefit is you get a nice color here. We don't want too much, as it can overpower very easily, so we just crushed it up, nice and fresh. You can actually smell it already. We're going to finish it off with a little cracked black pepper, not too much, and then we just toss it a little bit from both sides. We want to make sure you get it all around, okay? So, the marination for the halibut should just stay here about an hour. So we do that an hour before cooking, and we're just going to put it on the side in a cool place, but not too cold, as we want the fish also to rest nicely, yeah? So we just put it on the side, and we're gonna come back to this in a second. While we are preparing some condiments with the halibut, we choose today to make a celeriac puree. For the celeriac puree, very easy. We have some celery root, just diced, so we peeled the celery, diced it up, and we're gonna saute it off. Again, we start with a little bit olive oil in our pan here. Olive oil is always good. Of course, we use extra virgin olive oil. And we need also a little bit butter, just to give a nice sweet flavor to it. Butter is always good. And we're just gonna foam that nicely up. Important is when you make a puree, especially with a white vegetable, we don't want to give it any color. We want to saute it and give it some roast flavor, but we don't want to get the color so it doesn't look unappetizing on the plate. So for this dish, we want to keep the celeriac puree nice and bright. Yeah? While the butter starts foaming up, we add our celery. We're just gonna give it now about 2 minutes. While this is happening, we're gonna chop up some shallots, which we're gonna add to our puree. Just roughly chopped, nothing to worry about. And a little bit garlic, yeah? Garlic, we also just chop it. And you can hear already, now the cooking starts. We're gonna get a nice flavor here. Toss it a bit. Again, time is crucial, so we don't want to rush it through. We want to give it a few minutes to get all the sweet caramelized flavor out, yeah? So if you're a few minutes into this, then you just add your chopped garlic and onions, and we continue for another few minutes just to saute it off. Beautiful. We add already some salt to it, yeah? Very important, you always season in the beginning. Yeah? You can later add some salt, of course, to your taste, but you want to give it already a little base, and you want to make sure that the flavors get nicely extracted. So that's why we add a bit seasoning in the beginning. As well, we're gonna add a little sprig of thyme, just beautiful thyme, just whole. Before we blend it up later, we're gonna take that back out, yeah? We sauteed that all together. When you're done with the sauteing, again, a couple of minutes, give it some time. Then you just fill the dish up with a bit water, okay? And we just give it enough water to have it covered. Yeah, we don't want to give it too much, but we need to have it covered so it boils nicely, evenly. And we're gonna put this on the side now, let it simmer for about half an hour to 40 minutes, okay? When it's nice and soft, we will strain it in the strainer and then take the excess liquid off and just blend our cereal nicely till we get a smooth puree. Okay, that's it already done. Let it boil. While this is continuing, we finish our halibut. The halibut is now marinated with our pink peppercorns, and we're going to continue now with the dish, wrapping it up in some pergament paper. Just, here we go. So, pergament paper. We're going to need some oranges. We just picked up some fantastic orange here. For the orange, we use organic oranges, very important, especially if you're looking for using the zest of the orange, you look for something organic. You can wash it off with warm water as well, and you should, but always use organic oranges, especially if you are looking for using the zest as well, yeah? So the orange, we got here prepared already. We cut some nice segments. Segments is just the fillets. So basically, just gonna show you few pieces. And then we just take the segments out. Of course, we're very lucky here. Our oranges don't have any seeds in it, so we don't have to worry about them. Otherwise, we would remove the seeds as well, yeah? Okay. So the orange segments, we're just gonna layer on top of our halibut, okay? Of course, we want to look also for a nice presentation. We're gonna use 4 pieces. Gives a fantastic flavor here. 4 pieces each. So when you later, you don't need to worry when you plate up the dish, you open the paper up, it looks already fantastic, okay? In order to give it a nice balance, we're going to use some red radish. We picked up some red radish earlier. The red radish, we're just shaving nicely with a Chinese mandolin in very thin layers, and we marinated it for half an hour with the orange juice, okay? So you have the excess anyway from the segments. You squeeze it out, marinate the red radish in the orange juice, takes a bit the spice away, as well when you're cooking it, it doesn't dry out as it gets nice and juicy. So, and we're just gonna layer that up here as well, just in between. Gives a fantastic color. You have this red, white, orange, beautiful. And we're gonna use 4 pieces again. Yeah. This is entirely up to you, however you want. You can add a few more. You can add a few less. It's all good to go. So, that is this. And now comes the important part. So we're going to take this halibut, nice out of our marination, and add it on some pergament paper. So now you can check out. If you feel like it's a bit dry, you know, you can still add, we are going to add a little bit more olive oil. Just drizzle it on top, as well as it's later braised together inside. We're going to add a splash of white wine. Yeah, just a little bit drizzled over. White wine is always good. So, you see how juicy that is, and we just wrap that up. Yeah, keep it very simple. Make a nice parcel, and then you can fold it here together. Yeah, if you have, you can even use tucker, and we just give it a little cut. Then we don't have to worry that this opens up again. Okay? This halibut gonna go in the oven, 170 degrees Celsius, for about 10 to 12 minutes. Depends a little bit on the size. If you use a flatter fish, then it goes, of course, much faster. Yeah? So the second piece, we're gonna do the same. Just add it here. Splash of white wine again. Not too much. We want to keep something for later, for ourselves. The white wine and a drizzle of olive oil. Beautiful, look at this color. Yeah? And again, we wrap our little parcel. Don't want to put on too much pressure. No need to squeeze that up. Little tuck here. It keeps it nice and tight. Yeah. And we add it here. Again, this is gonna go now in the oven, 170 degrees, 10 minutes, and then we are ready to go with this. So, as we are today on Viking.TV, we got here something prepared already. Yeah. So it looks just the same, ready braised. Our puree is now almost done, so we can blend that up too. Just give it a little taste. Finish off the seasoning. And we're not going to add any cream here to the puree. We have a little butter, of course, for the flavor, but we will not add any cream. We just keep the puree plain, simple, a bit rustic. And we're going to play a bit with the sauce. You know, if you like it a bit more rich, we're going to add a little cream sauce. If not, you just leave the cream sauce away. Okay, for our halibut is in the oven now. Our puree is getting blended, and we're going to prepare now some pickled onions. Very simple procedure. We take some red onions. They're not as strong as the white onions as well. They're going to give us a beautiful color, so the dish is going to really be bright in color and appetizing. We're just chopping up the onions in simple onion rings, okay? Once the onion rings are done, the best is you use always a Chinese mandolin. We're going to marinate them with some rice wine vinegar. You can do that for a few hours. If you have time, you do it the day ahead, so they get nicely pickled. We marinate them with some rice wine vinegar, bit salt, and some tarragon sprigs. Just a sprig of tarragon. Leave it in the fridge. Take it out whenever you need it. Yeah. With these onions, you don't have to worry. They even last you a couple more days, and they taste fantastic for other dishes as well. So the onions are ready. That's how they look when they're already pickled. And we're just going to put them here in our pan. If you want, you can already put them in the pergament paper together with the halibut. So you just add them underneath. Yeah? We're just going to put them in the pan here. And we don't want to saute them, but we want to make it a bit warm, so the whole dish comes out warm. We don't want to cook the onions, as we want to keep the crunch in it. So it gives a nice texture. We have the puree, we have a crunchy onion, then we have the fish on top. So we play there a little bit with the textures too. Okay, our red onions. Now we have the halibut, and I would say we prepare sauce as well. Just a little sauce. For the sauce, we have fish stock. Okay, fish stock now these days, if you have not the chance to make it yourself, if you have fish bones, of course, if you have a whole halibut, you have fish bones, you know, we have sea bass on board, so we cook our own fish stock. If you don't have this chance, just buy a nice fish stock in the supermarket and reduce it down. Okay, so you want to make sure you reduce it till it's a really strong fishy flavor, yeah, not in a bad way. And we're going to add some heavy cream to it. So both ingredients we will reduce by 50%. Yeah. That we have done here already. We added a little splash of white wine. Again, not too much, just a little to give it a bit acidity. And we boiled it together. To finish off the sauce, as you can see now, it's just white because of cream and fish stock. We're going to add a little kick to it as well. So we're going to add a little bit Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard, fantastic French mustard. You can also choose a different mustard. Very important is you want to make sure it's not too spicy, not overpowering. Yeah, the dish should not be too strong. And we're just going to add a little tiny spoon, not more. Yeah, it's just to season the dish. Whisk it in the sauce. And to finish that sauce off, we're going to add a little bit beetroot. So beetroot, now, again, you can make your own juice if you have a juicing machine. We have also some juice here. You can see the juice here is very strong. As I took it this morning, and I just took 2 bottles, reduced it down to half a bottle. So you want a really strong, like a syrup. Yeah. You get also now these days, you get like a beetroot powder, yeah, which is dried beetroot granulate, which is fantastic, has a beautiful seasoning. You just can add that as well, and you get it usually in the drugstores. Okay, so we're going to add a little splash of this. We don't want to add too much. Just a tiny bit. And you can see already the color is exploding, yeah? Going to bring that to boil once, and then we will thicken the whole sauce a little bit up. Already beautiful. Yeah, we're just going to add a little salt and pepper to it. It doesn't need anything else, as it has all the flavors reduced. They're coming all by themselves. Good. So once this starts boiling, we will thicken it with a little cornstarch. So we have cornstarch. You can use also something else. If you have arrowroot, you can use arrowroot. Just mixed here with a little bit water, not too much. And once our sauce is boiling, we will just put a little spoon in. And then I will show you how we do it in the restaurants to get a nice foamy sauce out of this. Almost there, just a spoon. We bring it to boil once, and just to finish off this sauce, we have a little grapeseed oil. Okay, grapeseed oil, I love to use grapeseed oil as it has a lot of nutrition, a lot of vitamins, you know, so you just add it in the end. You use it the same way like olive oil, but it doesn't have as much power. You know, olive oil can be overpowering if you use too much. So we use some grapeseed oil. It's a very nice, smooth, balanced flavor. And again, very healthy too. Just add a few spoons. So that gives us almost like a little emulsion here. Yeah? And again, oil or fat is always a flavor transparent, and you get more flavors out just from adding sometimes butter, olive oil, or any fat to your dish. Still not boiling. Okay, so now we have this foam gun here, the basic siphon. It's a metal bottle with a nozzle on top, and we're just gonna take our sauce once it's thickening up. So our sauce is boiling now, nice and thick, and we're gonna just fill it in our siphon. Look at this color, amazing. So, just close it up. Sure it's proper closed. Add one gas charger. And now we can get a nice foam out of this. Nice fluffy sauce. Looks beautiful on the plate as well. Good. So, while we have our puree, we have our pickled onions, we have our sauce done, our halibut just came back from the oven, we can start up the plating. And we will make two different plates. We have prepared here already. Let me see. The plating, always up to you. Let's take this fish out here. Look at this. My God. Wow. Juicy. You know, you have the white wine here, you have this fong which comes from the fish itself. You can smell the pink peppercorns, and we're just gonna plate up the dish like that. Our puree we just put in a little squeezy bottle. Nevertheless, if you don't have one, it's not a problem. You just put it without. You're just gonna add it here on the plate, and gonna add some here as well. And get this beautiful onions, not too hot, just put them underneath the fish, so comes later all together. Take the fish off, just add it on the plate. Beautiful, beautiful. And for the garnish, we will use some scallions. Scallions, we have this beautiful spring onion. Just slice it. Nice and thin, not too much. Little green color just sprinkled over it. Look at that. And then last but not least, we have our mustard beetroot sauce, which we're just gonna add on the side. Look at this color. And that's our dish for today. I hope you have fun cooking it at home. If not, come and join us here, hopefully soon, in the kitchen table with myself, or in the restaurant, enjoy one of our destination dishes. And I see you soon. Stay safe. Till the next time. Thank you.